So like I was saying, the picture was a real weird picture. So I called my mother and I was like, yeah, they took my son. Did you get the picture that I sent you? I sent the copy to my mother. And I was like, do you see the picture that came on? He looked weird. I was like, the guy that we stand with, they just took my son, didn't ask me could he go or whatever. But and usually they come back, but they not back. And Jakari not answering his phone, and I don't know what's going on with his phone. So I don't know what's going on with his phone. He's not answering his phone, so I can't talk to him or whatever. I said the girlfriend said something about they spending the night at Rusty's or something or whatever. And so I was like, but don't he look weird? And I said, I'm having these real bad feelings right now. My alarm's going off like that. My mom was like, yeah, he do look weird or whatever. So anyway, cut a long story short, I could not sleep that night. I was tossing and turning, and I just had like bad feelings or whatever. That something was not right. So the next day they came in, I'm sitting there and I'm waiting. My son come in, he seems normal. He don't seem like nothing out of the ordinary or whatever. And one thing about me is I always raise my children to be able to come and tell me if somebody did something to them. I don't care who it is. But I think because my kids know how I feel about them, and especially back at that time, I always knew God, but my relationship just wasn't as deep as it is now. I'm really about doing the right thing and everything. And I ain't gonna lie, yeah, over my children, oh yeah, we gonna have a problem. And I don't know if that's why he ain't tell me or whatever, or he tried to keep it from me, because when petties, they like to threaten kids, or we'll kill your mother, we'll do this, that, and the other. I don't know if that's what occurred, but I just know my son didn't act out of the ordinary or whatever. So I think like maybe a night went by, and while he was in his sleep, he just was like saying, no Josh, no Josh, like something was happening to him. So I woke him up and he was in his sleep, and I was like, you all right? And he was like, yeah. And that's when my son's attitude like kind of changed. Like he was like kind of a little angry. So I was like, you sure you all right? You could tell me if anything happened. And he just kept saying, yeah, I'm all right. I'm trying to sleep. So then I think like a week or two later, I end up getting my place, because I had came into a lawsuit money that I needed, and I end up getting my place. And so I don't think they expected us to leave so soon, because I guess they had like this whole big thing planned or whatever for us. But I got my place. So anyway, I noticed he started distancing himself. Like before, we used to sit out on the porch and he'd be like, hey, you want to beer? Because he drank like them red apple snapple things or whatever them called. It's beer, but it's not beer. Apple cider beers or whatever. And we used to sit outside. And he used to be, but I noticed like after that day, the situation went, when he brought my son back the next day, my son wasn't acting weird, but he started acting weird. Like he was trying to distance himself from me. And one day he even came out his mouth and said, while we were sitting on the porch, he said, where's Jakari's father at? And I was like, I don't know, I guess he in California with his wife somewhere. He was like, because I got a friend in California that want to pay me a lot of money, but he stopped right there. He didn't say nothing else. So again, I don't think nothing to it or whatever the case may be. I'm not thinking nothing to it. So anyway, when we moved out, I gave him and his girlfriend money to show my appreciation and all that, of them letting us stay there and all that. And come to find out, I noticed like when I moved, and I had gave them a door key and everything to my apartment because I trusted them. I'm like, oh, they cool or whatever. I'm thinking they cool. To cut a long story short, because I don't want to make this like have to keep doing a whole bunch of videos. They were friends with the racist people that I had an issue with. The agent or the police officer or whatever he was in Virginia that targeted me. They knew them some type of way. The girl Amanda already told me that she had a sister that did 911 that answered the and all this gonna come together. Said that she had a sister in Florida that did that was worked for the call center. Now she was a 911 call center person. And You know, she told me she was talking about she had other sisters and all that or whatever. So basically, the ones that I had beef with end up being, they were related to them some kind of way, or they was best friends or whatever the case may be. And they kept giving like little hints, but I didn't put two and two together because again, I'm thinking I randomly chose this place to go to, but when the whole time they hacked my devices and stuff and they guided me there or whatever, so they can do whatever they had planned to do. So at this point, after this particular night, he stayed out with my son. Like I said, my son wasn't acting different, but then my son started like having these nightmares even once we moved into our own place. And I kept asking my son, I'm like, you sure nothing didn't happen because you keep saying stuff in your sleep? And he was like, no. He just got real angry. I told you nothing ain't happened. I will tell you, and I ain't gonna let nobody do nothing to me and all that. But my motherly instincts kept saying something happened, but I didn't want to keep pressing the point. And then I can't just go and file charges if my son is not going to say that something happened or whatever. So I left it alone. But I noticed like right after we moved into our place, Josh and his girlfriend started acting crazy. She was coming to get me for a little while, taking me to work. But then I noticed like her attitude started changing. And I started seeing at the job, the new job I was working at, out of nowhere, everybody started treating me different. They started making the environment hostile. And they started talking about my business, like what I was going through. And me and my son was staying in the hotel at first. And I'm like, how these people would know that? Because I'm not telling nobody nothing at the job. So how would they know this? It was because one of because the woman, one of the people, some of the family members worked there, and I was noticing like I kept getting like all these phone calls because I was a call center person. I kept getting all these phone calls from this same guy, and I know his voice. And he kept like fussing me out and all this other kind of stuff and cussing me out and this, that, and the other. It was the guy. It was the cop or the agent, whoever he was. It was him calling there and making a big deal. They was trying to set me up to get locked, to get lose my job and stuff. This is how cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs all these people are, all over because of his ego. He just thought he was going to talk to me any kind of way when he could have talked to me with sense about the music, and I would have turned my music down, and which I did, you know what I'm saying? But to target my son, who's innocent, my son wasn't being no snitch. He was coming down there telling me, Ma, turn it down because such and such going on. So for them to target my son all these years and target me because they got an ego and because they racist, and then they think because they know a few people they can get away with things, you're not getting away with nothing. I'm letting you know that now. And the secret is not a secret no more. I think the man Josh did something to my son, and my son just would not tell me, either out of being embarrassed or he was threatened. Even up until now. And now all of a sudden he's disappeared and he's supposed to be with his dad in California and his wife. But I don't think that's true. I think it's a lie. And I think that's why I'm being attacked here in Washington State when I don't even know nobody here. I think they probably ran here and then they came here and probably told these people some lies or some stories, or they got family here and trying to cover it up. Now this leads back to the woman named Veronica that I told you a few weeks ago, act like she just randomly ran into me and was trying to help me out. I remember before the stuff hit the fan in Michigan, him telling me he had a sister, she was fat and she was gay and all this and other. And then while I was on the train being attacked by the kids, it came back to me. Something that she said her brother's a drunk and all this, and God just starts putting it all together for me on the train. So these people, 9 times out of 10, it's the truth. I don't have the proof right now. They are related some kind of way, and that explains why all these people here seem like they got a problem with me, and they don't know me, and I don't know them. I don't know nobody here. It's because of them. They done came and told people whatever they wanted to tell them, which I don't care what nobody told them because God know the truth and I know the truth. But I'm telling you, it's going to be all HELL if they done anything to my son. Because my son was allegedly, supposedly had got a flight the day right after his graduation. Why wouldn't he want to say bye to me or nothing like that? And my son, he was not acting himself. He wasn't acting himself. I know my child. I'm a mother. Okay, I birthed these children, carried them by myself, and gave birth to them by myself. No daddies wasn't there. So I know my children. Something just not right. But I'm telling you, justice is going to be served one way or another because the Lord going to make sure it be served. And ain't nobody getting away with nothing. Nobody.